hit like, and subscribe. You're watching the Marc Lamont Hill official YouTube channel.
Peace, family. This is your brother, Marc Lamont Hill. Welcome to Night School every night here on the Marc Lamont Hill official YouTube channel. We hold Night School where I break down the most controversial subjects, the most contested topics, the most intense debates going on in the world today. And tonight is no different. So many things are going on. I can't wait to talk to you. By the way, shout out to Black and Scholar. I got my Black and Scholar hoodie on. It's another company that's owned and operated by Black folk, Black women, in fact. So make sure you check them out. Make sure you support Black businesses everywhere, including Uncle Bobby's, UncleBobby's.com. You can get all the stuff that you need there as well. We got a lot of stuff, including books, all the books you need in the world, but also we got apparel. So make sure you check that out. Anyway, family, it is a incredibly fascinating moment in history, and I'm glad to be here to help us talk through and think through it. We tonight are going to talk about everything from what's going on in the Middle East to what's happening right here in the United States with President Trump and the Supreme Court, to Kanye West, or Ye as he is now known, and his absurd behavior. We're going to talk about all of it. We're going to get to the bottom of all of it to the extent that we can. Shout out to everybody here in the global classroom. Make sure you drop in your name, drop in your city, drop in your state or your country. Let us know where you're coming in from, because, again, we're a global community and we want to make sure that everybody is recognized and loved. And also show some engagement. You know, classrooms work best when students are talking and teachers are talking. It's not enough for me to sit here and lecture. That's not what I came here for. What I came here for is to have a real, engaged, spirited dialogue with you all. And I think the best way to do that is for you to drop some comments and let me know what you think as I'm talking. I'll pull out the best comments, the most interesting comments, the most provocative comments, and engage them as well. Just make sure that you keep those comments respectful, keep them civil, keep them without harm, without racial epithet, without abusive language, because if you do all of that, I think we're going to be somewhere special. You dig what I'm saying, family? We got moderators too, by the way. So if you don't do that, you'll understand. You're going to get muted. Then you're going to get tossed up out of here at the end game. First you get a warning, then you get muted, then you get tossed up out of here. We'll let you know all of that. But I don't want to get too punitive in my language. I want to talk to folk out here. Let's shout out some folk, man. We got David Eames repping Dallas, Texas. Now, I hate Dallas, Texas. No disrespect to you. We got friends in Dallas, including some real close friends. So it's all love. But if you're a Dallas Cowboys fan, David, I hate you. I hate everything you stand for. I hate everything you stand for. But if you're not, then we're good. And when we're not talking football, I got you. D. Marie back in the building as always. We love you. Mazia back in the building. We love you. Thank you for being a channel member. The People's Republic of Brooklyn got folk checking in like Descendant. Chris coming in from Chicago. Kate said, who is Hove and Bev? It's not Bev, it's B, as in Beyonce. But if you don't know who Hove and B are, that story probably ain't for you. Of course, we got Jazz LP in the building. I don't know if she's in the building, but I shouted out Dallas. She's Dallas' finest. We got to make sure we show her love because she is a devoted member of the channel, as is Karen D coming in from LA. I appreciate you. Fifi, I love you from Boston. Again, I hate Boston Celtics, but I love my Boston people. And we got somebody here that said, stop by Uncle Bobby Sunday and picked up a few things. Saw you sitting out front in the whip, but didn't want to be a weirdo. Great book. So thank you for stopping by my bookstore in Philadelphia. And I got to tell you something. I was sitting in front of the bookstore in the car. I didn't get out. I was planning on getting out. This is what happened. I had just come from my niece's basketball game where I almost caught a tech. Man, I was about to yell at these refs for not calling traveling and double dribble and shit. Yes, they were 9 years old. Who cares? Mind your business. But as I'm sitting outside across the street, I was like, I got about 60 minutes, 60 before the babysitter is done. I could go on Uncle Bobby's and talk. I could go make myself, I couldn't make myself a beverage. I was fasting. I said I could go in there and read a book, talk to folk, or I could sit in this car and enjoy a nice nap on a Sunday afternoon. This is 2 days after working out and almost killing myself. So I decided to sit in that car and sleep. I never made it out the car, bro. I never made it out the car. I sat in that car until 2:59, and then I haul ass to where I needed to be. It was lovely. Anybody who has a small child understands when you get childcare and you get a minute to yourself on a Sunday, you take advantage of that stuff, boy. That's all I got to say. Cash Dad just said, Mark, thank you for standing up for Gaza. Look, standing up for Gaza is not anything I need to be thankful for. It's my duty. It's my duty as someone who believes in freedom. As is standing up for Sudan and Haiti and Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? It's the work we got to do. Yeah. Why Hove instead of just saying Jay-Z? Because for the people who know this story, saying Hove is like saying Jay-Z. It's like saying why say the boss? Why say the Godfather of Soul? Why say MJ? Come on now. Come on now. Mark, what do you think of Hassan Piker? Have you ever interviewed him? I have interviewed Hassan Piker. Hassan Abbey. It's my brother, man. Jazz LP said, I'm judging by how you're squeezing your eyes right. Or things going now, you're not gonna be able to make it here long tonight. You know what? You're not wrong. And I hate that y'all in the comments know me, that when I'm in my sleepy mode, that's how it's gonna go. I had a very long day at the Joe Budden podcast today. Shout out to Joe, shout out to the whole team. I love y'all. It's gonna be a great episode coming out within the next 10 hours. You're gonna see a great episode. We had a lot of fun, a little dark, but really good, really good. So I am tired after a long day, but don't worry. I got plenty of energy here to do my thing. Don't let that yawn confuse you. I am up and at 'em. Let's get it popping though. We got stories to cover and I want to get right to them. Israel breaks ceasefire. This is in a story that obviously is at the top of, to me, everybody's news cycle, or at least it should be. The question is, we see what's happening in Gaza right now, but the question is, did Israel break the ceasefire, or was this always the plan? On Monday night, as I reported last night live with you all here, the Israeli Defense Forces, the IDF, bombed Gaza, claiming retaliation for Hamas. Their argument was Hamas won't release the hostages, so we're going to blow things up. But by Tuesday evening, tonight, Israel confirmed that it had killed 4 senior Hamas officials, including Issam Ad-Daalis, Hamas's political leader in Gaza, and Mahmoud Abu Watfa, a top interior minister. 2 more leaders may also be dead, but Israel said it needs more proof. Now, I just want to pause and say, I told you that this was going to happen. Yesterday, there were people, particularly Zionist mouthpieces for the Israeli government, saying that we were lying that 100 Palestinians have been killed. I reported 70, then I reported 80, then I reported 110. They said I was lying about each and every one. And now more than 400 people are dead in Gaza in the last 24 hours, with another 600 injured. Now, Israel's not disputing those numbers. What they are saying is, well, we don't know how many are combatants. We don't know how many are civilians. Guess what? I'm going to tell you a spoiler alert. Israel's going to say that they were almost all combatants, because they already think to be Palestinian is to be a combatant, to be a Gazan is to be a combatant, and certainly to be a male Palestinian is to be a combatant. So they always conflate those things so that they can make it seem like they have this purity of arms, this restraint. Those are 2 dominant frameworks in terms that were used to describe the Israeli military over the years, and it's all untrue. Like every other military in the world, Israel's military is designed to defend the interests of the nation state, and those interests can only be defended through large amounts of violence. And what Max Weber talked about is a monopoly on violence. We can get on theoretical stuff later, but the point here is it's ugly out there right now. It's ugly out there right now. Now, all of this comes despite a very fragile ceasefire agreement that was supposed to slow down the violence after months of bombings, after hostage negotiations, after failed peace talks. All of this was supposed to happen. And finally, the ceasefire, which was in place 9 months ago, but they refused it when Biden was president, but accepted when Trump was president. It got brokered by the US, got brokered by Egypt, it got brokered by Qatar. And the idea was that it was meant to allow for hostage exchanges and humanitarian aid. But Israel has said for a long time that if Hamas didn't fully release the hostages, the war would continue. It looks as if to the West and to the observant world that, oh yeah, if Hamas just released the hostages, all of this would be okay. That's not the case. There was a deal in place. Phase 1, phase 2. There'd be some hostages released. We'd get to phase 2. Phase 2 would be more hostages released in exchange for a permanent and durable peace. Israel does not want to get to phase 2. They made it very clear that they no longer want to follow the terms of the agreement that they signed. They didn't want to get to a phase 2 because in a phase 2, there's a permanent peace. Now Israel has taken it to another step. They are now saying that if they do not get hostages back, they are going to start annexing land. They're going to start taking Gaza over if they don't get what they want, which is the hostages back. Now, I'm going to tell you something. You can't just arbitrarily decide you're going to annex land. It doesn't work that way. You can't just say, you know what, if you don't do what we want, we're going to steal your country. It does not work that way. Now, let me be clear. Kidnapping innocent people is also a war crime. Hostage taking is also illegal. But that's what the ceasefire agreement was for. That is what the ceasefire agreement was for. The idea here was in exchange for the hostages being released, Israel would stop bombing the hell out of Gaza and stop committing its own war crimes. But Israel, once again, has not followed the rules. Israel has not followed the agreement. And frankly, they never have. From the moment this ceasefire was agreed upon, Israel was still violating it. In fact, Scott L just said the same thing. Israel always violated ceasefire and started hammering the West Bank. Trump is officially now a war criminal. No surprise there. I'm not sure. The only thing I'm thinking about is whether or not today is the day he became one. Well, the bunny said the only negotiating partner less reliable than Israel is the United States. Wild. All right, y'all. We got a lot to talk about here, so I don't want to stay here too long, but I wanted to at least get those things out. Family, if you have a comment or question, drop it in the comment. Well, if you got a super chat or super sticker or super thanks, you know we love that, man. Again, it's the middle of the month. We are still building. We could always use the support, so please don't forget about us here. Let's keep pushing though. Donald Trump, man, this dude is just wild. The United States just told South Africa's ambassador to pack his bags and leave. The only question is, we know it's fucked up. We know it's awful. We know it's untoward. The question is, was it about politics? Was it about race? Or is it both? The Trump administration just expelled South African ambassador Ibrahim Rasool from the United States, giving him until Friday to leave. Now, the move came after Secretary of State Marco Rubio determined and declared him a what they call persona non grata. Now, that's wild to me in general, but it's especially wild when the Secretary of State does it on Twitter. Let me show you what your boy said, because I think sometimes it'll seem like I'm making this up. He said, South Africa's ambassador to the United States is no longer welcome in our great country. Ibrahim Rasool is a race-baiting politician who hates America and hates POTUS. We have nothing to discuss with him, and so he is considered persona non grata. And of course, they attach as evidence an article from Breitbart.com. Ooh, Lord. Oh, Lord. And what Ibrahim Rasool said, just to take you all the way through this line of thinking, was Trump is leading a global white supremacist movement. Well, I don't know. It doesn't seem that unreasonable to say that. Let me tell you exactly what your boy said. Because again, I don't want you all to think that I am being reasonable.
Is launching is an assault on incumbency, those who are in power, by mobilizing a supremacism against the incumbency at home. And I think I've illustrated abroad as well. So in terms of that, the supremacist assault on incumbency, we see it in the domestic politics of the USA, the MAGA movement, the Make America Great Again movement, as a response, not simply to a supremacist instinct, but to very clear data that shows great demographic shifts in the USA, in which the voting electorate in the USA is projected to become 48% white, and that the possibility of a majority of minorities is looming on the horizon. And so that needs to be factored in so that we understand some of the things that we think are instinctive, nativist, racist things. I think that there's data that, for example, would support that would go to this wall being built, the deportation movement, etc., etc. So I think I mentioned that. I think that there is also an export of the revolution. It's no accident that that Elon Musk has involved himself in UK politics and elevated a Nigel Farage and the reform movement in much the same way that it was instructive that on his way to the Munich Security Summit, Vice President Vance addressed the Alternative für Deutschland to strengthen them in their election campaign. And that then begins to say, what was the role then of Afrikaners in that whole makeup? And very clearly, it's to project white victimhood as a dog whistle, that there is a global protective movement that is beginning to envelop embattled white communities, or apparently embattled white communities. It may not be true, it may not make sense, but that is not the dog whistle that is being heard in a global white base. So I think we need to understand all of that. Another discontinuity, it's almost that they are putting a supremacist insurgency against the incumbency, and therefore we need to rethink our old categories of rationalization, because in that category there are mainstream Republicans like Mitt Romney and so forth that are seen as part of the incumbency that are also embattled. And so it's an intra-party insurgency as well as a global insurgency and a national one in the USA. So I think we've got to get out of categories of thinking that are falling by the wayside, and it's forcing critical transitions in the world. This idea of undermining incumbency, it's firing and forcing transitions from a system where the incumbents violated rules and disregarded rules to one where there are minimal to no rules. And
so I showed you that for a couple of reasons. One, I just think it's hella interesting, and his analysis is I think a necessary part of the conversation, but also because we live in a society where people just believe what anybody says, right? I want to return you now, just for a second, to the commentary by Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio said South Africa's ambassador to the United States is no longer welcome. So you just heard the analysis. You know what he said. They don't engage his analysis. They say Rasul is a race-baiting politician who hates America and hates. Did you hear in that analysis that he hated America and that he hated Trump? I mean, I can see why he has a critique of Trump. I can see why he's not a fan of Trump. But he's breaking some shit down. Engage him. Take him up. Have a conversation with him. But instead, they say, this guy hates America. And because his name is Ibrahim Rasool, people are going to assume that it's true. The people who follow Trump and Rubio and the whole MAGA movement are going to say, that guy, if Trump said he hates America, he hates America. And his name is Ibrahim Rasool. So how much could he love America with a name like that? And it goes on down the line. They end up doing something very, very, very easy to do, which is to not think and to just follow the lead. But this is the danger of the Trump moment. It's not just his domestic policy. It's not just his domestic economic policy or climate policy and all these things. It's about a cultural shift where we no longer engage ideas at all. We don't even pretend to engage ideas that we disagree with. Instead, we say, forget about it. Kick them out. Whether it's students, the Mahmoud Khalids of the world, or whether it is the damn ambassador to a major nation. They don't care anymore. And they get off on kicking these people out. They get off on humiliating people, disrespecting people, putting these people in their place is how they see it or how they talk about it. And we see the danger of that. So just wanted to lay that out there for y'all. All right, let's move on to another story because there's some important stories to cover. Let's talk about the Supremes. Donald Trump just got checked. I love it. Donald Trump got checked by the Supreme Court. Chief Justice John Roberts fired back at Donald Trump and his allies for trying to impeach, federal judges who rule against him. This all started when a judge blocked Trump's plan to deport Venezuelan migrants. You know, Donald Trump don't like to be told that he did something wrong. He doesn't like to be upended. He doesn't like to be challenged. That ain't what he's about. So here's what your boy did. Donald Trump. Let me pull this. I'm gonna pull this up for y'all. Jesus, it's like reading the words of a crazy person. Donald Trump wrote this. This radical left lunatic of a judge, a troublemaker and an agitator who was sadly appointed by Barack Hussein Obama, was not elected president. He didn't win the popular vote, quote, by a lot. He didn't win all 7 swing states. He didn't win 27, 50 to 25 counties. He didn't win anything. So he starts by calling the judge a lunatic. He follows by going on his normal Barack Obama rant, starting with a racial dog whistle. Barack Hussein Obama was not elected president. What? He didn't win the popular vote? Are you fucking kidding me? Barack Obama absolutely won the popular vote. I mean, the exact Barack Obama in 2012, if you care, got 65,915,000 votes to Romney's 60,930,000. Basically, he won by 5 million votes. He got 51.1%. He beat Romney by over 4 points. It's absurd. But anyway, he didn't win anything. I won for many reasons, an overwhelming mandate. Again, none of this has anything to do with the talk, but let's get back to the point. I'm just doing what the voters wanted me to do. This judge, like many of the crooked judges I am forced to appear before, should be impeached. He's calling for the impeachment of the judge. Why? We don't want vicious, violent, and demented criminals, many of them deranged murderers, in our country. Make America great again. Donald Trump is saying, we don't agree with this judge, which is his right. And because I don't agree with this judge, kick him out. That's the absurd part. That's the ridiculous part. Anyway, a Republican congressman immediately followed up introducing articles of impeachment because they just love to just, you know what? Let me not say that. Yeah, but you want to impeach the judge because he didn't agree with you? You think every judge who has a dissenting opinion should be impeached? There's an appeal system in the legal system, not a revenge system. And of course, anyway, Roberts and Trump, they don't always get along. In 2018, Roberts attacked Trump for attacking judges, or he criticized Trump for attacking judges. And let's be very clear, Roberts presided over Trump's first impeachment trial. He's probably not a fan. And we all know what Trump is trying to do. He's trying to remake the courts in his image. This isn't a war against the deep state, as he says. This isn't a fight for the integrity of the court system. This is about Donald Trump trying to intimidate and chump everybody, trying to make everybody into a judge that basically does his will and bidding. And if you would have told me 4 years ago that's part of a deeper plan to make sure that he gets some kind of approval to have an illegal third term, or to never leave office, I'd say, oh, you guys are being so ridiculous. You guys are being conspiratorial. Now I'm like, y'all might be on to something. I don't know no more. But let's move on. Let's move on. Got work to do here, y'all. For the first time ever, a patient in New York has been cured of sickle cell disease. This is amazing. He's a black man. He's from Long Island. Look at this brother. He is healed of sickle cell. I can't say that enough. As somebody who has family members who have sickle cell, and as someone who carries a trait himself, I understand what this means for families. I understand what this means for people's futures. His name is Sebastian Bouzil. He's 21, and he has spent his entire life battling chronic pain. But thanks to a cutting-edge genetic treatment, his own bone marrow was used to create normal red blood cells. And so now he is completely free of the disease. Now, this is no small thing. This is history in the making. Sickle cell has been devastating Black communities for over 100 years with little medical attention or funding. And now doctors at Cohen Children's Medical Center say that they finally have a real cure. Bouzil, for his own credit, says that he feels unstoppable and he's ready to live a life without limits. His story is proof that when Black health is prioritized, we see miracles. Now, the real question is, will this breakthrough be affordable and accessible to the millions of Black families still suffering? It's not just Black people who get sickle cell. It's a trait that emerges not just among Black people, but people who grew up around certain types of water. For example, I think in Greece you see it. There are other places where you see sickle cell, but this is certainly a problem that we wrestle with as a community, and it's a problem that I want us to deal with as a community. Let's talk about it. All right, family. From the sublime to the ridiculous, I want to talk about a couple of things here. Where do I start? Let me bring myself up to full screen. I get no pleasure in bringing this story up. But Kanye West is out of his damn mind. I mean, like literally out of his mind. He has been on a Twitter tear for days. He has been saying and doing things that I honestly didn't expect. He's been tweeting in all caps, which is never a good sign. He has been saying all kinds of awful things, but now Kanye West has taken his online rants and his online disrespect to a new level. For the last few days, he has been going in on everybody, friends, family. You know, he posted a private call from Diddy yesterday. He said today he hates rapper Jim Jones after Jim Jones has shown him nothing but love, and they seem to have a mutual appreciation. I don't know what that's about. Not my business. What I do know is he's been saying wild stuff. Kanye West tweeted, "I honestly don't give a fuck about Palestine. I got my own rich nigga issues right here in LA." Again, things that, you know, I don't know, don't need to be said, but Kanye or Ye says whatever he wants. But it got worse, and it's getting worse. He tweeted deep homophobia. He tweeted outrage over the fact that Kim Kardashian has control over his children's name and likeness. If you remember, she vetoed the use of their daughter her voice sample on a Diddy track, if I remember correctly, and Ye went off about it. Now, I would argue that if you want your child's name and likeness on a Diddy track in 2025, you probably don't have good judgment. He said, a white woman has control of the name and likeness of my black children. No extra charge for this, but like, come on. First of all, when you were with her, you weren't calling her a white woman. Now she's a white woman now that you ain't with her. And second, if you don't want a white woman to have control over the lives of your black children, don't have children with white women. You know what I'm saying? Like, you act like this random white woman popped up. You made a baby with Kim Kardashian. You made a few babies with Kim Kardashian. And because you did, she has control over her children's lives. That makes sense. So I don't see the race angle here. I see what you're saying in terms of white people controlling black lives, but this is their mother. And this is a situation that you created, Ye, but that's not what we're here to talk about. I'm not here to talk about any of those things. I'm here to talk about a very specific tweet that Ye put up that was completely disgusting. And I'm reluctant to post it, but I am, because I need people to understand why whatever happens next happens. Kanye West, just a couple hours ago, tweeted, "Wait, has anyone ever seen Jay-Z and Beyonce's younger kids? They are," and he uses the R word. No, like literally. And this is why artificial insemination, which he spelled wrong, is such a blessing. Having our children is a choice. Kanye West is a piece of shit. He's been a piece of shit. And I don't even know how to make sense of some of the things he says and does, but this to me is a new low. Him standing out in the world with a swastika was a new low. Him walking around, praising Hitler was a new low. Him being abusive to people was a new low. But this is Jay-Z and Beyonce, some people who you know and people who you claimed to love. And this is how you move with them. Again, he's not well. Why I'm richer than 99% that can read. I'm too rich to read. It's spelling it wrong. Going in on Kendrick Lamar, going in on all these people. He doesn't seem to stop. I mean, I decided to do this story an hour ago, and there's probably 50 new tweets up already. I don't even know. He's clearly not well. He took the tweet down about J and B's children. In fact, here's what he said. "I need everyone to know that I took the post about Jay-Z and Beyonce's family down, and Jerry Lorenzo's family down, because there was a possibility of my Twitter being canceled, not because I'm a good person." And then he makes a Down syndrome joke. I mean, I hope that Jay-Z and Beyonce are recognizing that Kanye's not well, and they just ignore him. Now, if Kanye were to turn up with a body part broken or a limb missing or some other thing happening, it wouldn't shock me. I'm not saying that Jay and Beyonce would do that. I'm saying that it wouldn't shock me if, after all the harm he's done rhetorically and verbally on Twitter, that somebody doesn't give him the beats. And again, I don't advocate street justice, but I understand why somebody would feel a way. I understand why somebody would be angry or upset or hurt. I understand why somebody would walk up to him and punch him in the fucking mouth. Again, I'm not advocating it. I'm just saying I understand how that could happen. Kanye West needs help. He has serious mental health issues. He's clearly in a really bad spiral right now. But mental health issues don't make you an asshole. Mental health issues don't make you abusive. They don't make you disrespect your friends. They don't make you use ableist language. They don't make you homophobic. They don't make you anti-Semitic. Kanye West is a piece of shit who also has mental health issues. The mental health issues don't make him a piece of shit. And that's just my take. No extra charge for it. But it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. It'll be interesting to see how this outcome gets to what it becomes. I don't know what it will be, but Kanye West, I don't see a long professional future for him, and he's spiraling in a way that makes me fear for his life. Yeah, that's all I can say. That's all I can say. You know, I don't know if he needs a conservatorship or not. I know that I'm sorry, Queen Virgo said, wait, in the manic or psychotic episodes, people will have people saying hurtful things. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know enough about his mental illnesses to say whether he has no say in the matter. I just know a lot of people have these type of illnesses and they don't say the shit that he's been saying lately. But I could be wrong. If there's a mental health expert who can correct me, please allow me to be corrected with respect. I acknowledge that. Yeah. Anyway, I don't want to keep talking about this messiness, and I don't want to continue to spotlight every bad thing that Kanye says. What I will say is that I don't know. He's just disgusting to me. You know what? Enough about Kanye. Let's move on because I don't have anything else to say about that. Family, let's have a good night. Let's call it a night, y'all. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the join button if you're so inclined to become a member of the channel. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all, and I could use the support. The channel could use your support, so please consider becoming a monthly member of the channel, whether it's a bronze membership or hopefully a diamond membership. Please consider, if you're a bronze member already and you've been one, think about turning that thing up to a silver membership. It's a couple more bucks a month, but again, it gives us the financial support and stability that we need to do the work that we do. If you can't make a monthly commitment, make a one-time commitment. Go to Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, Zelle right now and make a donation. You can drop $1 in, you can drop $1 million in, whatever you think makes sense. No amount is too small, no amount is too big. We would appreciate all of it. But if everybody watching tonight could donate $10, if everybody watching tonight could donate $10, we'd meet all of our financial goals for the month, and that would be much appreciated. So please consider it, family. Again, I love you, appreciate you, can't wait to see you again. Talk to you tomorrow. Peace.